Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. Today we shall discuss the responsibilities of the head of the treasury. So, treasury is very important for the banks and FIs and so many corporates because their funds management is the main portfolio of the treasuries. So traditionally, the treasury function in banks was limited to funds management. That is the maintaining adequate cash balances to meet day-to-day requirements and deploying surplus funds from operations. The treasury in a bank is also responsible for maintenance of reserve requirements like cash reserve ratio, statutory reserve ratio, which are the compulsion on the banks to maintain from the Central Bank of India, that is the RBI. Treasury was considered a service center and liquidity management was its main function. But nowadays, the scope of treasury has now expanded beyond liquidity management, and treasury has now evolved as a profit center with its own trading and investment activity. So most of the treasuries are traded in GSEC, shares, FX, and so many other securities, SDL. Hence, the role of the head of the treasury and the staff therein have a lot of responsibilities to manage the operations of the treasury well within the rules and responsibilities imposed by the regulator, and it should be profitably simultaneously. So what are the responsibilities of the head of the treasury for the successful operations of the treasury? First of all, head of the treasury ensures that users accessing the system are only duly authorized users, actually created and active on the same. So mostly front office remains the restricted area, and it is allowed for the authorized users only. Procedures laid down to prevent unauthorized access to the system, user ID and password, etc. should be properly followed to prevent abuse of the system, because the systems are sensitive and a lot of confidential information is there. So only authorized person should be there and unauthorized person should be restricted. Head of the treasury should follow self-discipline, that is very most important, and ensure that his own user ID and password is not shared with the dealers. So password sharing makes a lot of concerns and it may lead to non-profitability to the institution also. The single order limit, dealer-wise, category-wise price ranges, and dealer-wise, security-wise list for short sale of securities are set only by him. Means that is the head of the treasury. And the system of the head of the treasury. And in the system of the head of the treasury. It should not be at the dealer's desk. To guard against undesirable consequences, new users, especially dealers authorized to use the system should familiarize themselves completely with all features, functionalities of the system before being allowed to independently access and operate the system. Since the securities are in high volume, so little incompetent capacity of the dealer or little incompetency of the dealer may lead to huge losses. Prior to being given such access, it should be ensured that all users have acquainted themselves with the NDSOM, guiding principles, related RBI circulars, notifications, regulations, guidelines, and procedures, etc., relating to the secondary market activities in GSEC. Another is head of the treasury should be responsible for the internal discipline of ensuring that the internal filters are not breached without his or her explicit permission under the normal circumstances. If obtaining prior permission was not possible due to any reason, head of the treasury ratification should be taken at the end of the day. All breaches done by the dealer during the day, either with or without the permission of the HOT, should be placed before the HOT in the form of dealer's activity log report that is generated from the system, or such reports as may be available in the system, or his confirmation or ratification should be obtained in writing. Oral is banned. So audit trail should be available for all the audits, whether it is inspection, concurrent, external, statutory, or RBI audit. So this trail should be available for inspection. All SGL account holders providing gilt account facility to their constituents, CSGL account holder should instruct their client not to place request with the custodians for purchase and sale of government securities at price outside the internal filters. So this is from my side. Thank you very much for your patience listening. Kindly subscribe the channel. Thanks again.